solo board gaming night here, and tonight I just finished playing my first full game of Fast and Furious Highway Heist. The first time I played it, after reading through the rule book and playing about halfway through the game, I was running out of time. I had to pack up and leave. So I wasn't able to completely play it, but I did enjoy what I played back then. But tonight was actually the first time I played my full complete solo playthrough. Right now I'm going to give you an overhead view of what the game looks like on the table to give you a rough idea of how much space the game takes up. Honestly, it's not a lot. You could probably make it take up less space than what I have here, but I just like to space things out to give me a good view of everything going on, so it helps me not get confused and make less mistakes. I want to preface this review with a disclaimer right up front. I'm not a big fan of Fast and the Furious. Although I really loved the first movie, I didn't like the second and third one. I really enjoyed the fourth and fifth one, and from there on out, although I've seen a few, I couldn't even tell you how many I've seen past that. It didn't do it for me anymore. It didn't resonate with me. With that in mind, I'm going to focus strictly on the gameplay, not so much the theme. Although the game actually looks good, and I like the art design, I just want to share mainly the pros and the cons, what I thought about the game, especially as a solo gamer. Starting with what we're looking at here. What you're looking at here is the highway that you're riding on or driving on at high speeds. All of the enemies and the players are constantly moving from west to east. So you're heading east, okay? And in this particular mission, we have, I believe his name's Owen Shaw. They give you a little description of what happens. He stole some sort of computer chip with some vital information, and he's making his getaway inside this tank. And you as the player are supposed to stop his escape. So you're on the highway, and the highway's zooming in, and cars are moving in and out, and you're zooming in and out, and it does have a neat feel. I want to tell you that it was tough. I was struggling from the get-go. From the very first move, I kind of stood like, wait, what do I want to do here? In a way, I kind of think that this was a cool solo game because it gives you a chance to kind of in your mind go back and forth and think about how you want to move and what actions you may or may not want to do. And I could kind of imagine that if you're playing with multiple people, that could slow the game down considerably. So I do like this game in solo play, in the way that you could kind of just take your time and look at this puzzle that's going on before you and start wondering, well, how do I want to take care of this particular situation? Every player board that you have is combined with the vehicle that you choose. And all the vehicles have different stats. And depending what you want to do, like right here it tells you if you want to ram an SUV, you need the speed symbol. So you'll grab the speed symbol, and if you're in Dominic Toretto's car, this is the American Muscle is the car that I use for him. You could choose whichever car you want, vehicle you want to use, but I chose the American Muscle. Since that is a check with speed, you would count how many speed icons are here. In this case, there's 3 here and 2 here for a total of 5. So you would grab 5 dice and roll. And each dice has green pips and nitrous boost and obviously a blink, okay? What you want to do is each green pip is a success. And going back over here, if I wanted to ram an enemy, I would need 3 success using the check of speed. You would need to roll at least 3 pips to be able to succeed. If not, and like let's say you would have rolled a 1 and 2 nitrous, what you could do, you could spend one of your nitrous and turn those nitrous into green pips. So there's a good amount of mitigation to the roll of the dice. Now, although you can mitigate your roll, keep in mind that you're still at the mercy of the roll, and sometimes it goes in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't go in your favor. But you know, that's kind of like it feels cool because it's like you never know what might happen, and since you're speeding through the highway, who knows, maybe something unexpected happens, and that roll kind of makes you have that sense of the unexpected around every corner. So that's basically how the movement works. You get to move depending on how many. This is not a how-to play. I'm just giving you a gist of how the game works. You basically look at your skill check. You try to roll whatever that skill check tells you you have to be successful at, and you just keep moving forward. And you're moving around the board and trying to set yourself up in a way that you could wreck vehicles, so that the vehicles, in this scenario at least, will then go and run into the tank, causing the tank to lose life. Now, since I played with two characters, even though I played solo, this was over here at 2. So the tank had an 8 HP. So 8 times I had to hit this vehicle. One thing that happened to me, I had him at the 2, and then he healed for 2 towards the end, and I was running out of time. And about running out of time, I do want to let you know what that is about. Right here, there's a stack of stunt cards. And these stunt cards have two purposes. One purpose is, as they show up on the board, it lets you know an action that you can take, a crazy action that you would see if you're watching a Fast and Furious movie. And if you meet the requirements that are detailed both in the picture as an example and what's written in text, you get to pull whatever stunt is there. And that is how you try to destroy the tank. Now, the second thing this card does, it works as a timer. Once the stunt cards start moving down, they'll start in one corner and start moving their way down. Once the very last stunt card, which is right here, as you could see, it's the third level. It says level 3 right here. Once the very last one shifts off the board, the game's over. If you did not stop the tank before this last stunt card shifts off the board, you lose. And the ways that you could win are you defeat the tank, take out enough health so that the tank reaches 0, or you do the very last level 3 stunt. And if you pull this off, it's really difficult to pull off, but if you get to pull it off, you end up winning the game. And I'm going to show you exactly what happened to me. The final stunt that I had to pull off in order to win was called Over the Edge. As you could see, I was literally on the very last space on the board. If I wouldn't have done it at this same exact moment at my last turn, I would have lost the game. And what I had to do, I had to have both player vehicles that were manned directly beside the tank on the same side, both together. And I had to make sure that there were no vehicles or wrecks between the tank and the other side of the road. I needed to pull off a control skill check of 3, plus the tank's current strength of 4, for a total of 7 successes in order to win. Brian had a control skill of 3. I ended up using Dom's final boost to add an additional 2 dice to Brian's roll, giving him a total of 5 dice to be able to roll and attempt to defeat the tank. I rolled a total of 5 successes, and I cashed in my final boost token to convert the 2 nitrous into the final 2 points I needed to get a total of 7 and defeat the tank. I'm not gonna lie, that last turn was really, really intense. It literally went down to the wire, and it was the very last turn that got me the roll that I needed to win. And I kind of like cheered. I was like, whoa, I can't believe I actually pulled it off. It was a really, really cool feeling. But the game overall is not that really confusing at all. There's 2 actions you got to take. You choose which 2 actions you take. After that, you roll the boss die, and you find out what the boss does. If you roll an SUV, the SUVs take 1 space closer to you, or they attack you if you're adjacent to them. Or you'll roll these are like the boss cards, and over here, what you do, you draw a boss card and put it on the mat. Now, if there's 3 cards on here, you first would move them down, okay, and then you would activate using the red box right here. Will tell you how to activate it. So you would have to activate the 3rd and final card here. Once you do that, you go ahead, you draw another card, place it down here, do what the top text says, and keep moving forward. And speaking on that, if there's a peg here of like a human, that tells you how that little peg right here would work, and that's the enemy peg, and it will tell you if it brawls with the player, meaning that it will knock them off to another adjacent vehicle, or if it will cause damage to the vehicle. And you would use your skill check on defense to see if you can mitigate and avoid the damage. Also, there is the way the truck moves. It'll move north up once, or it'll move south down 1, and you will draw that same boss card that I had mentioned earlier. And that's about it. And after every player goes, what ends up happening is things on the board shift. Like the Rex will move 4 spaces west, and because you're flying by, right? You're driving by, and you'll pull out another stunt card, place it on here, and shift the rest down. I want to add that there is no player elimination, so you will always, even if your car gets destroyed, you will jump to any vehicle that is next to you or closest to you, and either try to hijack a new SUV. In which case, right here, as you could tell, Brian, I ended up hijacking that SUV, and I put that blue marker underneath it. That's pretty much letting me know that's my vehicle now. And you just keep going in that round, back and forth, until the game ends. And either you destroy the tank, or you run out of time. And that's pretty much it. That was Fast and Furious Highway Heist. As a solo gamer, I did enjoy it. It was fun. It wasn't the best game that I've played. There are 2 other scenarios that I'd like to try. What I do know for sure is that depending how these stunt cards come out, in the order they come out, and depending on the boss cards and how they come out, and of course that roll of that boss die, could give a lot of variation in every single mission that you do, even if you end up replaying it. And also another thing I'd like to add is every vehicle you choose has a different special ability. Okay? Apart from that, every character that you play as has different skill strengths and weaknesses, which kind of keeps the game fresh. You can mix and match drivers and cars and see all sorts of crazy things that can happen. But overall, it was a good time. It wasn't the best, like I had mentioned earlier, but I think it's worthy of being in my collection, and I will play it again. Now, I won't go out of my way to play this game right now, but I will play it again one day. I had enough fun to say it was worth having in my collection. So as a solo gamer, I can actually recommend this game. It's a very, very fun solo game. This was Solo Board Gaming Night. Thank you for joining me, and you guys have a great game night. One last thing, I have no idea what they were thinking about when they ended up putting these character designs on here. I guess they didn't have the likeness of the actual actors themselves, but it grew on me. I guess it's better than movie stills, but yee.